Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in today to Living and Loving Each Day. This is a podcast where we shine a light on inspiring guests who share their journeys, who share their insights and their wisdom. My name is Sue Jansen. I'm just so glad that you joined us today. And my goal is to create a space where we can connect deeply and learn from one another and just find inspiration to live our best lives, living and loving each and every day. So each episode, we bring conversations with extraordinary individuals who have incredible stories and valuable lessons to share. And we hope that these stories resonate with you. And we want to motivate you and to help you just to feel free about all your possibilities in your life. And so we love hearing from our listeners, and we're always eager to engage with you. So if you enjoy the show and the episodes, please, you've heard this before, like, share, and spread the word, and support and subscribe to my website too, is thelivingandlovingeachday.com. Your support just helps us reach more and more listeners and continues to bring just amazing people to the forefront. Today, now, I'm excited to introduce you because we have an extraordinary guest. She epitomizes the essence of badassery. You got to look up that word. She'll share with you what that means. And it's transformation we're talking about. So get ready to be inspired by the incredible Mahara Wayman. And Mahara is a force to be reckoned with. And she's a published author, a motivational speaker, and a certified mastery method coach. She passionately dedicated to helping women create their best lives. And through her compelling writing, dynamic online group programs, she's going to tell us all about all of this, and her one-on-one coaching, and her powerful podcast called The Art of Badassery. So Mahara embodies women and empowers women to rewrite their stories and to live their most authentic badass lives. I love it just even saying that. Her journey began on a vibrant island of Jamaica, where as a youngest of four, she danced in the rain with imaginary friends and evaded harmless lizards, she says, and found comfort in lollipops at the end of a tough day. So her adventurous spirit took her across the globe to England and to Japan before she finally made her way to Canada, her home now, and where she now resides. And she says she ends her days now with a rich glass of merlot. So I'm just happy to say that she's actually my neighbor. So we will live very close to each other. So of all my guests I've had, she's in my same town. So I'm just very excited about that. Mahara's story is a testament to the fact that you can have a good life and still crave more. And after leaving the corporate world, she took control and transformed her corporate life and from the inside out, she says. And today she uses her powerful voice and techniques to help others to do the same. As a board member of Empowering Women Entrepreneurs, she continues to uplift and support women on their journey to greatness. Her debut book is called Essential Insights to Living Your Best Life. She's a treasure trove of wisdom and adventure on Amazon, and I am just so pleased and honored to have her here as my guest today. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mahara.
Oh my goodness, what a fantastic introduction. And thank you, Susan, so much. I feel so blessed to be here with you today. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, you're a powerhouse, I can tell. And the first time I met you, and I'm just so excited that you're here. And we want to talk about kind of what you have that's kind of sparking your fire like right now. And then I know that you've got a retreat you want to talk to us about as well. Or we might want to start with just the badassery definition.
You know what? We'll start anywhere, but sure, let's start with the word badassery and why it figures so heavily in my world right now. Well, some of the writers that I've enjoyed have all mentioned badass, and of course, there's a whole series of books on being a badass. You are a badass, and it sparked my imagination. And through my work with women, predominantly as a coach, I realized that so many of us do not feel badass. Many of us feel, oh wow, stifled, afraid, small, lonely. There's so many things, so many ways that women can feel, especially as they juggle the balance of corporate and family life, or any sort of work in their family life. So I'm pretty passionate about helping women to see that, number one, you don't actually have to do anything to be badass. Really, all you have to do is understand that you are. The mere fact that you exist, right? Hand on heart, I matter. is sort of my calling card and the mantra that I invite all of my clients and people that I meet to take on. But really, I have two girl children, and as I was raising them, every day it seemed like I was inundated with the recognition that I had to, or it would benefit my girls if I spent a little bit extra time just reinforcing my
Mhm.
belief in them so that they had it themselves, because life can be tough, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I've had an amazing life and upbringing, and I still navigated very difficult things because that's being human. So I'm passionate about sharing badass stories on my podcast, The Art of Badassery, where I do a deep dive on very interesting people to talk about why they feel they're badass. But even in my coaching, whether it's in my
Mhm.
group program one-on-one or in the retreats that I do, I just think it's paramount that we understand and recognize and embrace who we are
Mhm.
every step of the way, as opposed to, I'll feel good about myself when I get the promotion. I'll feel good about
Right.
myself when I lose 10 pounds. I'll feel good about myself when I have a boyfriend or a husband or a girlfriend. Any of that stuff.
Yeah. The
It's
myth
a
of
blessing.
more.
Yeah,
Yeah, we call that the myth
the
of more. Like, I'll be happy when. Yes.
yeah.
Yes. Wow. And so tell me a little bit more about the your course material that you teach. Like, so just a little bit broader than that they matter. So anything else that's coming up? Do you dedicate it to certain kind of women and certain entrepreneurs, or who's your audience?
You know what? I help a lot of my clients are entrepreneurs. They can relate to my journey. I'm a new entrepreneur. I've been doing this for 3 years. And it took me about 2.5 years to kind of stop the rat. How do I say this? I really was excited to be an entrepreneur. So I jumped
Mhm.
in and said, I got this. I know I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. But I had some limiting beliefs that were really holding me back.
Okay.
And so I help uh, with entrepreneurs, I help them recognize their limiting beliefs and get
Mhm.
very clear on who they are and what's important to them. I also have clients that aren't entrepreneurs. So, really, what I say to people today is I help women unleash their inner badass and discover a happier
Wow.
you, because everybody can benefit from letting go of these preconceived notions of how they
Mhm.
have to be and learning to change their self-talk. So my group program follows a curriculum that I put together. It's a 6-month group program. We
Mhm.
always everything I do starts with clarity. So I've come up with some tools to help, but basically I take women on a journey from getting crystal clear about who they are, what they want, and what's potentially holding them back,
Mhm.
all the way through mindset work, mindfulness work. The name of my business is Mindfulness with Mahara. So
Yes.
I always incorporate this understanding that living in the moment is the number one way to not live in the past of fear and and disappointment or fear and worry about the future. So
Mhm.
we do some mindfulness work. I help them set really badass goals and sort of a bit tongue in cheek. I do a play on the SMART goals. I encourage them to design goals that are actually badass. But and what that really means is goals that are absolutely aligned with their values and what they want out of the world rather than what they think the world
Mhm.
wants of them.
That's
And
huge.
it's
Yeah.
really, really big, and the other component that I spend a lot of time on, a whole module on, is this understanding that, um, you cannot teach the world your worth until you acknowledge it yourself.
Mhm.
So often we get caught up in pretending to be A, B, C, D, and E when we
Mhm.
don't feel it.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to pull off authenticity and say to the world, "I matter," when you don't feel it inside. So
Mhm.
I do a lot of work with their self-worth,
Mhm.
and I also touch on a lot this idea of taking courageous action and defining what courage means to you. For some of us, it's courageous to get out of bed in the morning, and
Yes.
that's okay,
Yes.
right?
Yes. For
So
sure. Yes.
I really believe that courage is a form of personal currency that pays dividends in the face of adversity, and
Mhm.
we can celebrate small acts of courage every single day.
Mhm.
And when we really need it, big courage, we go, you know what? Hello, I've been courageous for the last 17 years. I can do this, whatever
Yeah.
it happens to be.
Yeah.
So lots of components that go into my group program. My one-on-one is, of course, by its very nature, completely um, curated for the client, what it is that they need. I
Mhm.
am a mastery method coach, certified mastery method coach, which means that I am certified in multiple disciplines in helping my clients. So I can help them somatically, emotionally, mentally, behaviorally,
Mm.
with unconscious work as well, and of course mindset work. So lots of opportunities to help my clients because we all respond in different ways.
Mhm.
Sometimes different tools, different modalities can be the thing that really allows a breakthrough.
Mhm. Just finding the self-awareness to discover what the foundation is, and I love your clarity focus because, how do you know how to even move forward without that first in place,
Mm.
right? So, and that foundation in of the self-worth is so important, so important. So you're building on something really strong then. Yeah,
Yep, absolutely.
that's
And
awesome.
the other thing I want to call out is, as a coach, that sometimes we need to just I don't really, it's just isn't really the right word, but we need to acknowledge that being seen is the first step because a lot of
Mhm.
my clients really just want to they just want to be heard.
Yeah.
So before we jump into the deep, deep work that comes with this level of growth, sometimes we just sit and I'm like, I see you. Tell me your
Mhm.
story. I hear you. I recognize that that you're a living being and
Mhm.
you have these challenges. So we don't always jump right into the deep end is what I'm trying to say, because there are times when it's like, "You know
Mhm.
what? Let's just talk. What's going on?"
And they've probably not even heard that from the people that mean the most to them. They're not, you're like you said, they're not feeling seen. And just
Yeah.
for those words, just for you to say those words out loud to somebody, that's very powerful, I think.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know.
I've experienced that myself, so I
Mhm.
know. I know that so many of us are just crying to be
Mhm.
seen, even
Mhm.
if we don't know what we want to talk about, or we just like, "Look at me." No, see
Mhm.
me. Not
Yeah.
not the pretense, not the fancy clothes or the great job, or even necessarily what I'm saying to you, but just see through that.
Mhm.
Just see through that.
Like to the heart. It's kind of like the heart of the matter. It's like
Mm,
who you really are inside,
yeah,
not the external stuff.
yeah,
Mm.
exactly.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, I was contemplating a few months ago, I was thinking I should do a podcast, but you can't do a podcast, but and call myself the listener and just say, just talk and I'll just listen. And I know that I'm listening. I'm
Mm.
actively listening to you. But that would be a pretty it would be a one-sided adventure, I know. But that would be I would just feel like that's so necessary and so needed. There's so
Yeah.
many of us we just want to just have somebody hear us, like you said, and to see us. I love
Well, I
that.
think it's the basis of community, and in this busy world that we live in, so
Mhm.
many of us are moving away from that. Even as
Mm.
a culture, we're moving away from that. We're like, "You know what? We got the phones," and believe me, I'm just as guilty as the next person with my phone. But there are way back when the community was we just sat around and talked, right? You knew your neighbors. You knew everybody was aware of each person's strengths, and you use that to your advantage. It was like, I'm hurting. I want to see this person, or I've had a breakup. I know that this person in the community can really help me. So I do think that it is our natural
Mm.
inclination is this desire to feel a part of. And
Mm.
many of us no
Belonging.
longer feel a part of. Yeah, we've got a longing to belong,
Yeah.
and we don't. We don't feel that, and that can often lead to a lifelong, a whole life of feeling other than,
Mhm.
not quite on the inside, not in the know, not quite.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm. Well, if you can tap into that, you've got magic there, 'cause I can relate to that as well. Yeah,
yeah.
that's beautiful. So, Mahara, tell us about your retreat that's coming up. Because I wanna be on the list, like, I feel like I wanna just put my name down, but tell us everybody about that, please.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for asking. So, I have a retreat partner. Her name is Jody Graham, and this will be our second retreat together. My very first retreat as an attendee was her very first retreat,
Ah,
and we became friends, and she said, "Hey, you wanna come to my retreat? I'd love the support." And I'm like, "Yeah, I would never been to a retreat." And I was blown away. It was just an amazing experience, and because I'm also a coach, I helped her facilitate one component of this retreat, and
good.
after that, she said, "You know what? You and I should do our next retreat. We should, you should help me with my next retreat." So we did. It was in the Rocky Mountains. It was fantastic.
Mm,
So this time around, we are taking clients to Mexico, and we are going next January for 7 days. And what's so exciting about this retreat is we've designed it with you in mind, in so much as because it's a beautiful destination, the retreat itself is going to will end every day at noon. We're going to
mm,
start every day on the beach at sunrise,
mm,
and we will end every day on the beach by noon, freeing up the rest of the day for you to hang with your family, your significant other, so that this becomes a holiday and a retreat at the same time. So we're
mm.
excited about that. But the retreat is designed for women who feel that they are lacking some confidence in their life, and they recognize that their lack of confidence is holding them back from creating the dream, right?
Mhm.
I don't know if you can relate, but sometimes we go through life with a smile on our face and
Yeah.
life is pretty good, but we don't go after that promotion.
Mhm.
We don't speak up at the dining room table
Yeah.
because we don't want to upset or offend. We
Mhm.
don't, we don't stand up for ourselves in other areas, or whether it's at work or in a relationship. And after a while, that can really
Mm.
wear on us. So
Mhm.
this retreat is meant for women who recognize that they want more out of
Yeah.
life,
Yeah.
and that their self-confidence could be the thing that's
Yeah.
holding them back. So
That
we
self-worth is like the foundation we talked about,
it
like that.
absolutely is. Yeah,
It's
it
the
absolutely
foundation.
is.
It's how you feel about yourself and how you treat yourself. And sometimes some of us, if we spoke to ourselves as we speak, or we spoke to other people like we speak to ourselves, we wouldn't be getting along with a lot of
Yeah,
people because we're not very nice. We have to be kinder to ourselves. But
yeah.
again, that's building our self-worth up.
Absolutely. So the
Oh,
retreat is called Empower You.
okay.
And as I mentioned, it is in the Mayan Riviera,
Mm.
or the Riviera Maya. I keep saying it backwards,
Yeah.
in Mexico. The absolutely beautiful resort, the Baha'i Principal Resort in Mexico next January. And you can check out my website or Jodie's website.
Yeah.
And of course, I will drop those in the comments later. But really excited to help women see their greatness, and
Mm.
and work on some very concrete tools to help them. It's not enough to just say, "Oh, I would love to have this," because that's just a wish.
Yeah.
What we want for our attendees is to go, "You know what? This is my goal, and this
Mhm.
is the work that I'm willing to do because that is my goal." Right? It's a completely different mindset. So there will be some mindset work. There will be some, of course, self-worth. I'm pretty sure there'll be some compassionate self-forgiveness work because I use that a lot in my work, and so does Jody. It's gonna be a fantastic retreat. We're very
Mm.
excited for it.
It sounds amazing. And so please, folks, go to it's in her website is in my description of the show notes, but also for sure, let's go back and put it in the comments. We'll promise we'll do that as well. So you'll have to be sure to check out, and please check out Mahara's website too. She's got some beautiful things there for you. So you are such a beautiful guest. You're just a beautiful soul. And I knew that the second night we started talking. And I'm just so glad that you took this time with us today. Thank you so much for being here and just for sharing, just for being you. And thanks for letting us be us. And hopefully, oh, wouldn't that be nice? That would be a nice birthday present for me to go to Mexico in January.
What There's nothing stopping you, girlfriend. There is
Oh,
nothing stopping you. Just
exactly.
saying.
Thank you. I hear it. I hear it. This is so great. Thank you so much. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us here today. And I just hope that we've just touched you a little bit and that you got something out of my beautiful guest, Mahara. And please keep in touch. And yeah, just know that you're living and loving each day the way that you're your own creator. So let's make it great. Let's make it great. So Mahara, thank you so much for